Ladies and gentlemen,
nerds and
neckbeards,
neckbeards.
welcome to another episode of Westeros. Wheneverly. Tana.
Dave, it's the end.
It's not only is it the end,
It's the
but
end
it's
of all
bittersweet.
things. Is it?
Because
it's bitter.
Yeah, fair enough. We've got a full house today.
We really do. I'm so excited.
Yes, we
introduce
have
you
assembled. Hold on.
Yeah, I know.
We have assembled a council. We have assembled the Westeros Wheneverly Council to determine how bad this episode was. We must know. And so I have brought in my lovely fiance,
Indeed.
Lauren.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, Lauren. Welcome. There isn't a studio audience to welcome you.
Yeah. Oh,
Cheers
yeah. I
in
was kind of
background.
waiting for that. Also,
waiting for
we
that.
have with us. Also with us, we have our longtime friend, longtime listener, and of course, kickball buddy, Morgan. Morgan Sobel.
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
Doing well. Good to be here. I've wanted to do this for a long time. Naturally, I'm a procrastinator, so I made it to the last one.
Yeah, that's right. The last Westeros Wheneverly.
glad to have you.
It's not going to be the last Westeros Wheneverly. It's going to be the last
It might be.
show related, maybe. So
Right?
yeah.
Westerworld. whenever.
Tana.
Next.
Yeah.
Who have you brought to this beautiful council?
I have
Broughton,
brought.
Brain. Kirsten's judging me over there for saying
What would your position be on the small council?
Is someone
Sansa?
in here under duress? Who's that person? Tyrion right now? I don't deserve any
Tyrion,
of this.
yeah.
Hand of the king. Hand of the queen. There you go.
Hand of the someone.
She's a hand. She's a handful, guys. But we have Kirsten. Blah, blah, blah.
Hello again.
You know what
Welcome.
we were talking about today? Dave, we started together as a group. We're
We
ending
did.
together as a group.
Almost like how season 1 started with Benjen Stark leaving the wall.
Yeah.
And we end with Jon Snow leaving the wall.
And with Jaime Lannister, the Kingslayer, slaying a king.
What king did he slay?
He pushed Bran out a window.
But he didn't die.
I know, but that
King
was
Maimer.
like
King Maimer.
his attempt.
Or did he?
He was
Maybe,
trying.
yeah, maybe.
He's
I
making
don't
the
know.
attempt.
So let's talk about what we're drinking. Obviously, we are a drinking podcast after all, and in
We
order
are
to make
indeed.
this
What are
episode
you guys
go
drinking?
this whole season smoother, we have to drink. So
Yeah. Everything
I
hurts
have-
less.
I have a nice big full glass of Angel's Envy bourbon
Oh, I'm jealous.
with a nice giant ball of ice.
That is
in
good
there.
looking, dude.
Yeah.
This
I am
angel
gonna
is
be
envious.
fucking wasted.
He doesn't have a very high tolerance. Hasn't
I
gotten
have
better.
no tolerance. It
Your
has
Lord
not
of
gotten
Light,
better.
save me.
Lauren, what are you drinking?
I am drinking what I call the blood of the dragon.
Oh, nice.
It's cranberry juice, Sprite, and vodka.
Nice.
Very tasty.
Little Tito's in there, you know.
Nice.
What about you guys?
I am drinking King white wine.
I am on call, so I am drinking nothing fun.
Oh, lame.
Water, the real adult beverage.
And my white wine is
The
a
real
Pinot
adult
Grigio. It reminds me of my cousin Corinne. Morgan, what are you drinking?
I am drinking Dragon's Milk Bourbon Barrel Aged Stout. I didn't know Dragon's milked. It's probably the same milk that comes out of the Guinea.
That is good.
Ooh, is it? Is it good?
Yeah, it's very good.
Oh, we lost.
We'll
Morgan.
never know.
Yeah, he's.
It was that good. Oh my god, it was that good. Holy shit.
Yeah, sorry.
It's,
it was good. It's very good. I recommend it.
It came out of Tormund's giant's breast.
Right.
Straight from
Tormund.
that wineskin.
Well, we got to see Tormund again.
oh, that was
we
that. Well,
That's
kind of
exactly
just his
what I
head.
wanted.
Just
Yeah.
like a little.
Yeah, he didn't have too many speaking parts. Oh, Tormund. But we could start by the good
first
things
half.
about the episode. I like that.
Sure, okay. So what was your favorite part?
I liked seeing Tormund.
Yeah.
Oh,
He pet Ghost! He pet Ghost! He pet Ghost!
He pet us down.
I miss that puppy!
White guy doing the bare minimum
Jesus.
thing. Woo.
Jesus.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, a little heavy petting is something to cheer about, but I mean, Damn.
Oh, what was your favorite episode?
Lauren never
David?
gets that
Or-
excited when I pet her, so.
You never pet her as good as John Pet Ghost.
Oh.
What was your favorite moment?
You know, I think my favorite moment was Arya. Just the end. It really gave. Yeah.
savage.
Don't laugh.
What
okay?
part of the end, or like when the
What do you
credits
mean?
rolled?
What-
You were just
No,
like, and
when-
now my watch is ended.
Now she is on a boat
I'm on.
going west of Westeros.
Yeah, that
okay?
was cute. That was cute.
Like that to me really rang like she is gonna be the new Euron, the book.
Oh,
Euron.
good.
Like
Oh.
going on like a mystical adventure and maybe showing up at some point with a Valerian suit of armor. Be kind of cool.
That would be cool.
Too
It'd be
bad
way
we're
better
never
than
gonna
that
see-
than that weird cape she was wearing to start out.
I love that cape.
Critical of the weird cape, guys.
Oh, it was so good. That one off the shoulder thing. The costuming is great.
Obviously, her right boob gets much colder than her left. So
Yeah, well,
It just
you
looks
know,
bad.
hence the cape.
you got to even them out. 'cause-
That's what I'm saying. But apparently,
yeah. What about you, Morgan? What was your favorite part of the episode?
My favorite part of the episode was when they offered the Unsullied like their own lands to
Yeah.
make
Oh, yeah,
their
the
own
Reach,
house,
yeah.
even though they cannot pass on any genetics whatsoever.
I know. Who's
Yeah,
it going to leave
here.
it to?
Here's a house you can't populate, and you'll never be able to continue
Yeah.
this past 30 years. So
Right.
yeah,
So
We
my favorite
commit
part is
to
just a
one
whole-
generation.
Forgetting that a whole group of people had no dicks.
Oh, my God.
it's nice. It's like leasing.
Oh, the moment where Danny's dragon wings boom, come up
Yes.
behind her.
so
That
that
was-
was actually very visual.
That was
I
really
liked
pretty.
it. I liked it.
That
yeah.
was stunning.
Yeah.
The episode was beautiful. If you just muted the whole thing, it was gorgeous.
I mean, there also were a couple
Well, the first
scenes.
5 minutes were on mute,
There
weren't
were
they?
a couple scenes that I was very confused about. Like, why are you showing Jon walking past Grey Worm, killing a whole bunch of Lannisters, and he's on his way to talk with the Queen,
Bang.
and yet somehow Grey Worm magically
No,
appears.
he can apparate.
next-
That actually, it's
Yeah.
a Harry Potter thing. I noticed it in the show. They can definitely apparate. They just never talk about
Oh.
it.
Lots of magic.
They
It's
just don't
a very
talk
high
about-
magic
But is it
fantasy.
just unsullied or what?
It's actually-
Probably. They gave up their dicks so they can apparate. That's that seems like a fair trade.
Now,
I
this
bet.
is-
You know, that makes about
Who's
as
that
much sense
move?
as everything else.
Why didn't I write this thing?
You're a woman.
No, you know the move when you're like, you're with a friend, like, I'm going to take the stairs, like, I'm going to take the elevators, like, I'm going to get up the stairs faster, and you sprint up the stairs just to prove
Yes.
a point. That's what happened. Grey Worm.
Yeah.
He's the sprinter.
Yeah, just showboat.
Yeah, I could see it.
Good as any.
Go talk to the Queen. That's fine. I'll be there first.
I liked the way that they opened it. I think that the pacing of the episode was really nice. Following Tyrion in through the
Tyrion
city.
finding Jamie and Cersei was heartbreaking, but really good.
And the suspense of that moment, I was on the edge of my seat for that because I really thought, like, you're wondering where's Danny, you know, how is this gonna go? Like, there's a sense of danger over all of it.
Was there a part of you that thought maybe Cersei and Jamie were
Totally.
alive?
Totally.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Totally.
But then I was
so
like,
scared of that. I
this
was
show's
gonna be so
ridiculous and
mad.
it does ridiculous things. But Jamie was mortally wounded. Like, the way he got stabbed and was, like, coughing blood, and he was dead, even if the castle didn't fall on him. I will say that my prediction that there would be a cat fight between the two most powerful women in the realm didn't come true, so
would've
I
been
guess
fine. Nope.
that's good.
But my prediction of Bran sitting
No.
on the Iron Throne did come true.
But
Well,
Wow.
Not really.
there's no more Iron Throne. I forget if we. Do you remember? Were you like yes or no Iron Throne at the end?
I think I said no. I
Yeah.
think I predicted that.
We'll have to check the record. But I think we both said no.
I think Lauren pointed out this meme to me that was online that basically said Drogon is either the smartest dragon in the world or the dumbest. The smartest option would be he realized that Dany's quest for the Iron Throne is what corrupted her
That's right.
and eventually got her killed. or the dumbest being like, wow, this knife pointy thing killed my mom, and look, this chair is made of knife pointy things.
I saw a slight variant on that where it was like, so Drogon can understand like very complex sociologic issues like the Iron Throne destroyed a country, I will melt it, but also can't understand a whodunit when there's only one other person in the room with your dead mom.
I disagree. I think this is Bran. Bran is he wanted to see if Jon actually killed Daenerys, and as soon as he did, he warns into Drogon, melts the chair. Bran brings his own chair. He doesn't need it.
Oh, that's a valid option.
It's an
A valid
option. It's definitely an option.
Oh my god, I love this fandom so much. People are so mad because there was no payoff for all of this stuff. You had Valyrian steel swords, we were told the whole time, is so important. We never see them in the big battle. The big battle takes one episode. The long night is a long minute.
Yep. Well,
What else?
Valyrian
There's so
Steel
many
is what killed the
unfulfilled-
Night King, right?
Yeah.
The cat's paw dagger was Valyrian Steel,
Yeah,
but
yeah, for
other
sure.
than that, you don't see them, right?
But what are the other unfulfilled prophecies for you guys? Like, what is left hanging in the wind? Who was that Dornish guy?
Where did the dragon go with Dany? That's what I want to know. Where is Dany and Drogon right now?
Jon came back from a knife to the heart. My Queen Daenerys can do it.
He's
She took like a.
both flying the same
What was
path
the
that
point of
Gendry
Jon's
rode.
What was the point of anything?
What was the point of
What was
anything?
that, Morgan?
Drogon's flying the same path that Gendry was rowing, so he's just going to be a while.
Oh, yeah, no. I'll get right
Circles
there.
right there.
Any second now.
You mean the Lord of
Oh,
Storm's
that's right.
End?
Who
He was looking
inexplicably
pretty good.
forgot his name. Because, yeah.
Gendry?
He was never, what did he say? Yeah, well,
Gendry.
when he got legitimized, he said, I wasn't, any Gendry Storm? No, what was, Rivers. Right.
Rivers.
Rivers.
Was
Yeah.
it Rivers?
No, Storm.
But he was
Yeah, but
born in
that's
King's
not
Landing.
the bastard name of people born in the
He was born in
Stormlands.
King's Landing.
Is it?
It's not?
I don't think so.
Edric? Yeah, it is. Edric Storm, right?
He was.
Oh.
Gendry
They're
wasn't
making him
born in
off
the
Edric
Stormlands.
Storm.
He wasn't born
Right,
in
he was
the
Oh, he
Stormlands.
was born
That's
in,
true.
It's supposed to be Waters.
Flea
Yeah,
Bottom.
Landing. Yeah.
Wasn't he?
It's supposed to be
Right.
Waters.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah,
flea-
Waters.
He was a rat?
I knew it was some watery
Waters.
thing.
Waters.
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 Like
yeah.
Rain Waters, the book
Yeah.
guy who's the admiral of ships for Cersei. Looks very
Shows how much we
Valyrian.
know. God.
Other good things? Anything else? Did you
So,
guys?
I mean, overall, I thought the ending is probably where the book is going with, some minor tweaks probably here and there.
minor. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I think this is where the book is going. However, getting to this point was really not a good experience.
It was like
I
it was like one of those old wooden roller coasters where you think you're probably
Yeah.
gonna die,
yeah,
but
exactly.
you paid $30, so you're not getting off.
And at the end,
Might be fun,
you're just
and then
so
you end up with a
relieved to
fucking
be
bad
alive,
neck.
right?
I think the scene with Tyrion as the Hand was a really good microcosm of the show, where George R. perfectly lays
The
out
one-
this whole thing, and that's Tyrion rearranging the chairs, and then the show move all the chairs back to where they don't belong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
I like it.
the first scene where Tyrion walks up to Daenerys after Daenerys makes her big war speech, war forever for peace.
Yeah. Yeah, that was weird.
Of course it was weird. It doesn't fit her
And very
character.
Hitler-esque. Like,
I do
That
have to
sharp
say, though-
right turn for no reason.
yeah.
Yeah,
But-
Lauren.
Oh, did
I just have to say, her speech delivered in High Valerian was absolutely stunning. Like Amelia Clark,
Yeah,
It's like watching.
amazing.
she
Oh,
did
yeah.
a
her
great job.
face off.
She did a great
I think-
job.
It was like watching
all the
Lucy in
actors
his prime.
did amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, if John's character called for just having the whiniest face that ever whined, then yes, nailed it.
It was like watching
This
Mussolini.
guy, he
Morgan,
could have
what did you say? It's like
prevented.
Mussolini what?
It was, I mean,
Yeah.
nice romance.
Oh my god. The Valyrian word for war is Valeria, which I think, or something very
Valeriette
close.
or
Yeah.
something like that.
I liked that. There are a couple of little like speechy things that were nice about that language. Did you think that Tyrion was going to stab Dany on the stairs?
No.
Was that going through
Ooh.
any of your minds?
No.
I think
It's not his style.
I thought that
Yeah.
Danny was gonna like have his head chopped off right there.
Yeah, I did too. Like the
Like-
suspense early in the
Yeah.
episode was on lock.
She says something like, "You betrayed me," or "You freed your brother," and he says, "I freed my brother, and you slaughtered a city."
And he pivots to look right at her. And
Yeah.
her acting in that moment, like you can see the clouds going over her eyes and how she kind of has to like, she feels shitty, but then she kind of like gets, strong a little bit
Also-
and is like, take him into custody.
What the fuck is the deal with Grey Worm caring so much about Jon's punishment when they're just getting
Right.
on a fucking boat and leaving anyway?
And how did they not kill him
That was my
immediately?
biggest problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some holes, guys. I don't know. This might come as a surprise. Are there any other like things that didn't get resolved for you before we move
Yeah,
on
do
to
the
the
people of
stuff that
Noth
did happen?
Know that they're coming? Or are they just gonna
No,
show
we
up
can move
uninvited?
right.
Do the people of Noth know that the Unsullied are coming? Or
The
they're just gonna
people
show
what?
up uninvited. It's kind of rude.
Oh,
They're gonna be.
Oh yeah.
the Unsullied
people
just
of
roll
Narth
up on
have
Noth.
idea.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
so
the people of
confusing.
Shit's about to
Narth
go
have
down
no
in
idea.
Narth.
What do you guys want?
Shit is about to go down.
I loved Masandi.
Somebody call the
Who is
butterflies.
that?
What happened to all the Dothraki?
Where did everyone come from?
I saw every single one of their flamey swords go out. Every single good goddamn one of them. And all of a sudden, they've got like 4,000 of them hiding in the background somewhere.
Where were those guys?
It wasn't after the episode.
I'm telling you, it's the apparition. They,
It
they
is.
just-
That was
They have a
essentially the end of the
multiplicity
Dothraki.
spell.
And then all of a sudden,
D&D said, yes.
much better at reproducing than the Unsullied
Yep.
are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the after.
The Unsullied kind of forgot that they were wiped out.
I mean, so they forget, and then there's just a million of them? That's good
Yeah, it
movie
was-
logic, I guess.
It was great. Well, obviously
Maybe-
at the end there was no more, so D&D remembered like in the last
That's
scene,
right.
You guys-
like, oh, all the Dothraki died. Okay, that's right. There's no more here.
You guys, as the local scientist here, there's like sexual reproduction,
Well, the
and then
glass
there's
candles are burning
asexual,
again.
and they're just splitting. Like off camera, they just split, and that's how
Like
you
bacteria?
get that's how you get more of them.
That's why they were going to repopulate the Reach.
See.
Let's see. What was the worst part for you?
Ooh, the worst part.
Real low moment.
The part I hated the most.
Oh, the part I hated the most was when they bring up like dirty Tyrion, who's been locked in a cell for weeks on end, and like they're trying to convince the Unsullied not to kill him, but then somehow they're like, oh, or we'll just let you figure out how we're gonna run our entire country for
Yeah.
forever. We were gonna kill you, but you're just gonna lay out the backbone of our civilization now.
In about 3 sentences, Grey Worm goes from shut the fuck up, okay, let's listen, you know what, do his plan.
Right.
Like,
Right.
there's no, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? But somehow
That's the
they haven't
story of
killed
this
John
season,
and
right?
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
it's been terrible
rushed
writing
character
after
development,
terrible
just
writing.
turning around and opening a different door. I mean, it's
I will say I was relieved that I did not have to see the knife go in to Daenerys from Jon Snow. I did not need to relive a Wolverine moment with the Phoenix and the whole, like, the man is crying and he's so
Yeah.
sad and he's just gotta kill this girl. And I'm like, motherfucker, have a conversation. He didn't say a single thing to Dany. He stood silent when she was on the stairs. He hasn't said shit to her. Like, I still blame him for the entire, like, shit that went down in King's Landing. Just spend the night with your girlfriend. Don't be an empty sack.
well, I think at the end he was going to, I do judge her, right? After he talks with Tyrion, he goes to talk to her and he says,
He says the exact same shit that
burned
Tyrion
women.
said to
You
him.
burned- you burned all these kids, and you didn't have to do that. And she rationalizes it basically. Like a crazy person would rationalize anything, right?
Well, what I thought
I'm
was
running around naked because I needed to run around naked, to
Well,
show
when-
my
He
dick
didn't
off to
stab her in
people.
the
So
heart, though, right?
and then
Yeah.
they get arrested in public indecency and Baker acted. But
but that was another time.
So
but that was another time.
Dave escalates as fast as the show does, so you gotta keep up with it. You gotta keep up with it.
her wound wasn't quickening then.
Well, when Tyrion, no, he stabbed her in like the lower right quadrant.
They said she got stabbed in the heart when they were
It was
having their
not.
smoke
There was.
council.
I mean, there are some conditions where the heart's on the other side.
Azor Ahai reborn.
I mean, Jon survived being stabbed in the heart. Drogon has taken her back to Old Valyria to raise her again. Come on, guys.
No,
The
look.
Red Priestesses.
Yeah, obviously.
I mean,
She's coming back.
here's my thought, right? First, a lot of people are like, "What the fuck, Drogon?" Right? But
I love him,
there
a little
is
sky
precedence.
puppy.
City now.
There is precedence for riders to rebind with a dragon or reclaim a previous ridden dragon. I think I would have preferred it if John just was like, killed her and then hopped up on Drogon and was like, "You're mine now."
No.
So
Drogon should have burned his face off.
just like your puppy did to your arm.
Oh, you guys, it looks like I had a very bad self-harm
To be fair, her puppy
injury.
acted like she was going off a cliff when she just like slipped off a 2-foot high couch.
So, my dog Sunny fell off the couch today, and in an effort to save herself from dropping 1.5 feet to the carpeted ground, she clung onto me, like out of nowhere, just like clawed onto me and shredded my fucking arm for about 1.5 feet.
So no, that dog is not Drogon.
Oh, God. And I was
Lauren,
like,
what was
oh,
your
my God.
least favorite part? I think now that I've had a chance to think about it, I think my least favorite part was I agree with Kirsten. It was the council of deciding kings. I mean, there's
have a worse
precedence
part.
for that, right? But
Sure.
none of them knew about it, right? Maybe the Great Council of Jaehaerys.
I mean, Sam should have.
well,
Absurd that
democracy?
Tyrion is not mentioned.
That was
in
funny.
Ice
Okay, that was
Empire.
funny. Were you like about to yank your own hair out when like
If they had
Westeros
said
went to a democracy?
Yeah. I thought that would have been crazy.
Oh, it would have been awful.
And that's how
Go ahead, Laura,
modern
speak.
times
I love
happen.
how Yara, completely blew over the fact that was a king's move, essentially.
You like
Yeah,
that
she
Yara
didn't mention-
blew over that?
She's like, we've been doing this
Blew
for
over it.
ages, bitches.
Yeah, she didn't say anything. Like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is a king's move. We just
Right.
decide ourselves.
That's
no
right.
big deal. Yeah.
That's a fair point.
So many
my-
inconsistencies, and a water bottle, not a Starbucks cup this time.
I know, I saw that. Did you guys see the water bottle by Sam's foot? We should
Yeah, they just yada
make
him
a
right back
meme
in.
thing of all the memes somewhere on our internet thing, so people can see all the
Yeah.
fun
Yeah,
memes.
we'll totally do the thing with the thing.
We definitely
Great
do
idea.
that.
Find 'em all.
Oh, but my worst part, where I was like, hard eye roll, I might pass out from this. Lord Braun
And why does
Oh my
Bran?
of
God, you're right.
Highgarden, Master of Coin. Are you fucking shitting me?
Well, he's got to
Yep.
be the master of something. What do you want him to be the master of? Bad
How
attitudes?
about the Master of War?
Okay, that
I mean,
works.
he's good at
Yeah,
killing
yeah,
things,
he's
right?
way more sorted for,
You know?
or suited for
Sure,
that.
sure.
Good lord.
There was none.
I thought.
I mean, okay, so he gets Highgarden because he was promised it,
Oh my
right?
God,
and
so stupid.
by that ownership, I guess he is now the richest man
Never
in
gonna get
Westeros
probably the
because Highgarden
most
has the
frustrating
reach
part of the
and
show.
all the harvest and all that stuff, and so he can, get that stuff out. But I mean, what was
So
the
he's
whole
super
point
good
of
with
his
gold?
subplot? There was literally no point to his subplot.
no.
It was the brothels.
Yeah, it was so
That was
they
the
could
point
get
was
in
getting
another
brothels.
sex joke.
Honeycomb and Jackass.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta bring it back to that.
Did any of you see Brienne becoming Lord Commander?
That's so good.
I didn't see it coming. I thought it was
thought it was
fitting.
great.
Right?
Yeah, it was
Dunk,
great.
Oh,
Yeah,
Right?
Super dunk.
they
I
was
loved
in
it.
jail.
that's good.
Pod though, I don't know if Pod could do that. I mean, he's got the
Pod's
magic
so
cock.
good. He'd be good
He's
as
got
a
the magic
Kingsguard.
cock, though.
Oh, maybe there's new rules. I don't know. I never stopped the Kingsguard before.
What about the Night's Watch? Why the fuck is there a Night's Watch
Yes,
still?
can we talk about this?
Wait,
Why the fuck is there a
but
Night's Watch?
Here's my favorite part. So if the North is their own new country, put a pin in that. That's some bullshit.
That's some bullshit.
Grey Worm just came from there. Doesn't he understand that when he sends Jon to the Wall, he's just sending Jon now to the North, which is a different country,
An independent
which is
free
run by
country.
his family. So he
Right.
legit just put Jon to home jail. He's just
Person,
in home
you
prison.
Forget, Grey Worm doesn't actually give a shit. He's getting on a boat to Narth. Who cares what happens?
But he cared a lot 2 seconds prior.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point
Shit
of this
changes.
season, right? Yeah, shit just changed. They just change their minds. You know?
JK don't
a
care
moody
anymore.
Teenager.
Yep.
Yeah, no big deal.
They're just I can just imagine all these writers in their fucking underpants with their unshaven faces because they're all dudes. These coffee stains on all the scripts, just spelling mistakes, and I don't fucking care. Okay, here you go. Jon goes to the Wall, I guess.
Yeah,
There's still a
yeah.
wall somehow. Here's what I want to
There's
say.
part of a wall.
There is no universe in which the North becomes liberated, but the other 6 kingdoms stay united because Dorne would leave so fast it would leave your fucking
yeah.
head spinning because they
Absolutely.
resisted the longest even after Tormund, nope. Torgen, nope. Torrin
Torrin.
Stark, who knelt hundreds of
Yeah.
years after he knelt.
The
They were
Iron
still
Islands were gonna
resisting.
be
And they had
their own
way more
thing.
blood. More people that had
I don't
died
think they
than the
can.
people that
Didn't-
died
didn't-
in the
yeah,
north.
didn't
And
Yara
apparently
negotiate
the
with Dany that the Iron
invincible
Islands were gonna be
Dothraki
free?
and just
then
kidding,
Sansa comes up
Unsullied.
and goes the North is going to be free.
Yeah,
and Yara's
no,
like,
miss
that's,
me with this
that's
shit
very
that they'd
valid.
still
There's
have a
no way
Night's
that
Watch.
Dorne would not be like, yeah, we're going to be independent too, bitches. We've always been independent. So
What else? Did you
also,
see?
I don't understand why. What?
Say it again, Morgan. You can do it.
The Iron Islands were its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Just us. We're going to be free. We're going to be independent, even though my brother's king of all of y'all, but we're doing our own thing. That's definitely, there's no conflict of interests there.
Right?
Yeah, that was the other thing I was
What the
thinking.
fuck, man? They're not even
That's
trying.
true.
You're
on
like
this
third
shit.
in line to pull out. You're going to have Dorne and the Iron Islands leaving before you guys leave.
Every part of that kingdom fractures under Bran the Broken.
Bran the Broken.
That's
hell,
the thing.
Bran the Broken.
That's the thing you say behind someone's back, not to their face.
Oh, this is not a good moniker.
So bad.
So, do you think in the books that it's not Bran? We discussed this a little bit.
Nothing about
that
this
it's-
is happening
that
in the
it's
books,
blood,
my dude.
That it's Bloodraven.
Nothing
That
about
was
this
just
is
a-
happening.
This was a full-on trickery plot twist by Bloodraven to get back to King's Landing and be, he's actually warged into Bran and taken over him.
I mean,
and
Oh.
I don't know. I think that there are some parallels between Bloodraven for sure.
It can't be any worse. Let's go with that.
But there are so many parallels. There's so much history repeats itself. So a lot of people are complaining that George didn't finish the books. He went off and wrote
Yep.
Fire and Blood and The World
Yep.
of Ice and Fire and this other stuff in between. But what maybe they don't understand is George is talking about this wheel. Dany talks about breaking the wheel. What George is exploring in these other books are the same things that are playing out in real time. We have the same kinds of characters, the same dynamics that are happening, and he is figuring out what he wants to say in the main series by talking about what's come before.
Yeah. What George is figuring out is how to make a shitload of money with spin-offs on HBO, and he has to write the script for him because he's not going to let him fuck this up like they fucked up Game of Thrones. That's what he's doing.
All men must drink. Let's spare
all
a
men
thought.
must drink.
Let's spare a thought for George watching this finale.
Dumpster fire.
I mean,
I feel bad for him because,
I do too.
he trusted these guys. So that's the other thing, right? George trusted these guys to take his baby and do it right, And he
These
gave
fuckers.
them plot points that
Yeah.
no one else had.
Yep.
So my question is, are these the
Yep.
plot points and they just failed to get it? Like they failed to give us a good story of getting
Yeah.
there? Or did they just take his plot points and say, fuck this, and did whatever they wanted to do?
You know, it was fine. It was fine until the last, like, half of the last season. And that's when it really, like, hit the blender. And I think you could have made a lot of this stuff work given more time. Like, I can totally buy that Dany loses her mind. Sure. But, like, you need to do it differently and longer.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I have confidence that George could do the exact same. Like, the result could be the same, and it could look 1,000 times better.
What we were talking about last episode, where if Missandei was killed in front of Dany at the same moment or around the same moment that Rhaegal was killed, everything else is the same. All the plot points are the same. Boom, boom, boom. But then this sharp left turn where she becomes this megalomaniac, and I understand that she has killed and killed and killed, and hers is the story of fire and blood. I get that. But, like, her changing for no reason doesn't hold. And
Well, yeah, that's the problem that we all have with this season, right? Is give me two more seasons, right?
Yep.
20 more episodes.
Yep.
Give me the character development. Give me the story back. You know, the backstory of all of this change. And okay, I could be happy with this ending, right? But just the fact that you're jumping on a dragon, you're hearing some bells, you're burning the city, and then all of a
Everyone
fucking
has their
sudden-
trigger, man. Everyone has their trigger. Fuck those bells.
Hashtag fuck the bells. Right?
Indeed. Have you guys ever done one of those? Like, remember when you were in high school and you had to do the like reports or an essay or whatever, and it was like 500 words or 1,000 words, and it wasn't like a page thing. I don't know. Back when you were in high school, Tana, they might have done pages. But by the time I was in high school, they caught on to that, and so there was
Yeah,
a
they
word
did
count.
words. Yeah.
And so you'd like spend a lot of time early on, like putting lots of unnecessary adjectives and just bullshit fluff in there to hit your word count.
course.
And then you got to like the last 100 words, and then you're like, and then the end, period. At 1,001 words, you are done. And that's what
would
happened here.
I understand so much more about you now.
What I would do, because they didn't have digital copy turn-ins. They always did like hand, right?
Yep.
So I knew they weren't going to fucking count, right? Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Right? So I had 1.5 space, and every time there was a period, I'd put 2 spaces
So
after
back
the period.
in the dark ages when we went to school, David, that was standard. And
He's
then
going to
that
be
changed.
30 soon.
Oh.
Yeah, he
I'm
said,
turning
you're going to
30
be
this
40
weekend.
soon.
All right.
So back in 1936 when Tana was in high school.
I think, no, that wasn't the year my dad was born. You guys, the wheel turns. It turns and turns.
How do we break the wheel?
How indeed.
I don't know. But wait, real quick. That
But
scene.
wait, there's more.
Yeah, but wait. That
what,
scene
what?
with Drogon where he's covered in snow and just like snow shakes out. Totally
That is
useless, but was
Just
so
farsighted.
visually like
That reminded
pleasurable.
me of like a
Loved it.
D&D campaign where
Loved
like
it.
you just come upon a sleeping dragon and
That's
it's
smog, man.
like, rustles up. Yeah, smog. there you go.
Yep. I was like, where'd 1-1 come from? I thought he was up in, I thought it was a giant, like a giant. I was
like
so
1.1?
confused.
So I think that was to like drive home the like puppy like response he had.
He's
when
my
he
sky
found
puppy.
Danny dead.
His name is Sky Pupper.
Yeah, he's Sky Pupper.
It's Sky
I love
Pupper.
him. I just
He's so
wish he
sweet.
killed John. In my perfect world, he kills John.
Yeah, I wanted him to kill John too.
Yeah.
Really? You think
I
he
sure
kills
did.
John?
Oh,
In our perfect world. In my perfect world.
Drogon, you
He's-
made the wrong choice, buddy. Just,
He's a Targaryen. Drogon's not going to kill him.
I don't know.
I mean, don't you think he'd make an exception for the guy who murdered mom?
right? Dragons kill
mean-
other Targaryens. It's in all those
That's true.
histories everyone complains about.
That's true. That's true. So, I've got a question for everyone. All right. Actually, it's Stump and Tana. Okay.
Ooh, she's gonna love this.
What is the name of the book that Sam brings to Tyrion?
What is in A Song of Ice and Fire?
Do you remember when we talked about how there was this theory that
Dabs.
that the ending was actually going to be Sam like closing the book, writing it, and that was the title? But
Yes. So I like that they included it, and I have to say it was hilarious that they
love this
said Tyrion
It
wasn't
wasn't mentioned. I know.
That's such a burn. It's
I love how
impossible.
he's so concerned about what it says. He's like,
Yeah.
Always
oh, I
flipping
wonder
through
what
the
it says
pages.
about me. Probably doesn't
bad.
have a good criticism of me.
Nothing bad.
Because you're not in it. So that was hilarious. Have you guys heard the theory? Did we talk about this on this podcast? I don't know. It all runs together. There was you have to think of the entire show series
And you're
as
like, "Uncle,
drunk
what
uncle,
happened? Uncle, what
as
happened
a
with that
drunk
guy with the
guy
crossbow?"
that lived like Sam, that lived through A Song of Ice and Fire. And he starts out, and it's really descriptive, and he's not drunk yet, and he's like,
It's at a wedding, so you start at a wedding and you start hanging out and you're drinking.
Yep. And so by the end, by the 7th and 8th season, what would be the season, he's smashed and he's just like forgetting things and like
Making shit up.
and he just kind of, and he's like, and then she burned the whole city and then Jon stabs her and like, and then Bran came and like, and Grey Worm definitely had Tyrion.
Then they were gonna murder Tyrion,
Yeah.
but then they let him go.
Yeah, but then they let him go.
Then he made the king. Then he made
this
the
is
king.
cut off
actually
the Sandy's
an episode
head.
of Drunk
and-
History.
Okay.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you guys
So
hear
if
me?
you can think about this, the last two
Yeah.
seasons, certainly this season,
Oh,
in
goddamn.
that light, it makes it better.
It checks out.
As a drinking podcast, I can relate.
All men
Must drink.
must drink.
That's my sound effect.
It's very good.
Yes.
I liked it a lot. Oh, there it is.
I'm drinking wine out of my tin, probably whiskey mug, which is
Nice.
as disjointed and
No, it's great. No, it makes
ridiculous as
perfect.
this episode.
Perfect sense. Drink wine from a
Yep.
whiskey cup.
No one's judging you at all.
Round table. How do we feel about Bran being the king?
Let's start with Morgan. Hoping we can hear him.
Starting with Lauren.
Starting with Lauren.
I don't like it.
No?
I mean, I can see that being the ending of the book,
Yeah.
but just sticking strictly to the TV show, I don't like it. It doesn't make sense.
What would your perfect ending be? Or what would have satisfied you?
Ooh, that's my job.
So this felt right to you, Lauren, huh? Familiar?
Debatable.
Hey, disappointment.
my middle name.
Oh, yeah.
I just
Dave
wish
wheels in.
John's
Squeak, squeak,
parentage
squeak.
actually came up and was actually relevant.
Who?
Yeah.
Aegon, John,
Oh, you wanted
No.
John to
The Mocha
inherit.
dude.
Yeah.
You wanted him to inherit the throne?
not necessarily inherit, but at least like it get brought up, like he's a Targaryen.
Did
Yeah,
it
it's
bother
weird
you
that, no
that
one
he
else
and
knew.
Danny never had a conversation about it?
They did. Danny was like, "Don't tell anyone, asshole.
We're
If
not
you
talking
do,
about
you're
this."
betraying me."
Marches off. Dragon stalks off.
Again, a guy in his underpants.
To be fair, if you had
Writing
been
it.
fucking your nephew, like how much would you want to unpack it? Or would you just want to like, I'm gonna leave that shit in there and we're not gonna talk about it?
She
Yeah.
doesn't care.
She
Clearly.
didn't care. She didn't care. There was nothing
Seemed
about.
like he cared.
He
It was
cared.
him.
Yeah, but she didn't care.
Dave, what's
What?
your answer? Are you
was the
satisfied
question
with
again?
Bran?
It was your question, Dave.
How do you feel about
It
Bran
wasn't- it was my question.
on the rolling throne?
The Rolling Thrones.
Which, why do they need a Master of Whispers? Right.
Bran and the
Considering
rolling
there's no more
throne.
iron. There's no more Iron Throne.
He
so-
goes, He goes into a metal band. It's Bran and the Iron Thrones. The Rolling Thrones.
I don't know how I feel about Bran on the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not sure how I feel about the whole
I don't think it's a
when
morals-based
the
show.
king dies, then we'll just pick a new one thing. Like that.
Yeah.
That seems weird to me. Like in a world where you're not going to have a democracy and you're not going to, you're not going to have everyone vote or whatever on someone. And you're keeping all these old rules, like you have a hand, you have a master of whispers, you have a master of coin, right?
You have a master of whispers when the king can warg into anyone and know anything.
Yeah, right. Suitable replacements will be brought to you shortly.
There is a moral quandary to having Bran be the king, since he can warg into anyone, and that's like a little fucked up. But okay, we're not unpacking anything in this show, so that's fine. When Bloodraven, maybe I can make this a Stump Dave. Okay, Stump Dave. When Bloodraven was sent to the Wall, they convened a great council.
They did.
How many lords and ladies were present? Don't try to Google it.
No, I wasn't.
I see you eyeing your keyboard.
No, I was responding to Morgan, who asked if we could hear him at all.
Let's see. 10 to 20.
I think it was like 500 for some
100
reason,
to 200.
Yeah.
A million.
No.
A jillion.
Or a jillion. Or all the great houses and all of the people that could fill up Harrenhal, which is hundreds and thousands of people.
It was that one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
so instead of like 5 dudes.
Instead of like, hey.
And 2 ladies.
Hey, Edmure Tully, we haven't seen you in 3 seasons.
We had no idea who that guy was.
Hey, random guy from Dorne, you want to get in on this?
Yeah, right.
I thought that guy was a Bravosi banker. I don't know anything about the show.
That was Edmure Tully, and that was awesome when Sansa said, Uncle, sit down.
Yeah, that was great. And then he clanged his sword against the pole.
Who were the other guys, though? Like, who was sitting next to him, and who was sitting next to the guy who was sitting next to Robert, his bannerman? I forget. Royce. That was Royce,
Sweet
I think.
Robin.
But who was next to him?
It was Sweet Robin. It was Nestor
Sweet Robin,
Royce.
Royce, yeah. And then who was next to him? Was that
No
Umber?
idea.
No idea who that guy was.
There was the Bravosi banker.
No. Edmure Tully.
And that's it. And Sam. And Davos. And everyone from the north.
And Brienne. Yeah.
Brian, yeah,
What?
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It was interesting how they were the only ones who got to vote.
Shouldn't Bronn have been there since he's like the Lord of Highgarden and Master of the Reach?
Yeah. He wasn't that until afterwards, right? I guess technically that's the point.
So he gets
The
to be
point is,
Master of Coin, but doesn't have a voting interest.
Not yet. He wasn't important enough yet. Also, he had a prior commitment of doing something that filming day.
That's what it was.
That's
he
what
was
it
filming
His
John
dog
Wick
was sick.
3.
There you
He's
go.
in John Wick 3, so
that
that
checks out.
That's important too.
That seems on brand. I don't know. What else, guys? This show.
How about the fact that the Raven can live for like 500 years?
I mean, I don't know if that's true, right? Brendan Bloodraven was
70.
maybe 100 years old. I mean,
He was about 110, I think. He
Yeah.
went north of the wall
I
when
think
he
you have to be
was
attached to a
70-ish.
tree.
Oh.
What was that, Morgan? You're back.
Morgan, we can hear him.
I said, I think you have to be attached to a tree to live
And you
that
sound
long.
really good too, Morgan. I don't know what happened,
Morgan,
but
you
you
fixed
did.
it.
Are you sitting on your router?
I don't.
I heard that works great.
Plug directly into it,
yeah,
and
that's it,
I'm sitting
that's
on it. Yeah.
He's plugged in.
Maybe you have to be plugged in directly to a tree.
Maybe
you know
that's
how like
it.
if you like unplug your computer, it's got like 2 hours of battery.
Oh, being plugged into a tree gives you
Probably
life.
that's probably how the how the three-eyed raven lives so long. You got to have a tree growing.
Yeah, but
Our
he wasn't
question-
like he wasn't like 1,000 years old though. He was 110, like max, right? So,
but the idea is that
that's
took
really
on.
old back then.
It's really old now.
I mean,
I work
good.
at the VA. I'm less impressed.
I would have pegged him for 65.
You don't look a day over 60. Tree guy.
the children of the forest kept him going, I guess.
Morgan,
what the
your
fuck's up
take
with them?
Your take
Right?
on Bran on the throne. Oh, did we lose him?
I feel as strongly about it as Bran probably feels about it.
Meh.
I don't hate it. It just doesn't. They just kind of yada yada everything.
Yeah.
Anyone but John,
Yeah, they
man, and
found
that
it in.
fulfilled that role.
I don't have a problem with it as much as I have a problem with him going, "Why do you think I can?"
Oh God!
I really had aspirations.
That was
This fucker.
right. Oh, I don't want.
You big dreamer.
I don't want to rule Winterfell. He kept it open. He knew it was coming. It was frustrating.
I heard somebody on Twitter
I wish-
talking about the endgame thing with Doctor Strange and how there's only one way this works out. Because otherwise, if Bran knew he was always going to be king, why didn't he do anything? Why didn't he save people? If he's
Because he's Bran and he can't be bothered.
I know. And so, there are super
He doesn't really
holes
want
in
it.
any way of thinking about it. But if the Long Night happens this way, if Arya kills the Night King, if, then Bran will be king.
And if that stuff happens, we definitely, at least in the books, are gonna get. I feel like we would be fulfilled because we'll get the full development of why it makes sense. Where to us
the
right
books will
now
be
it's
great.
just right now it's just kind of lost on us. And
The books are so good, dude.
how did you guys feel
Does-
about Tyrion being punished by being Hand of the King?
That was bullshit.
Bullshit.
Tough break.
Doing the
right?
thing you love. Nobody got punished. John gets to go be
Except for
free.
John.
Well, no. John just got sent home. John got sent home with his dog and his best friend. He's really having a hard time.
Guys, all John has ever said is that he doesn't want to do this and he wants to live as a free dude beyond the wall. And that's what he gets to do. There's no punishment. Sansa gets to be queen in the North. Somehow the North gets independence, but the rest of the Seven Kingdoms don't fracture. Blow me. Who else? Arya gets to sail off into the sunset. All right. Where's Nymeria, by the way?
Yeah.
The lone wolf dies, but the
God
pack
damn.
survives.
Everybody gets rewarded. Tyrion loves being Hand of the King. Now he's going to be a little wishy-washy about it. Sure, man. Sorry you get your dream job for the rest of your life.
now
Real
he has-
punishment.
he has
don't
a
get
little-
to die.
A little moral conundrum with the job, though.
Yes.
So, maybe he doesn't fall asleep quite as fast at night.
Jesus Christ. Everybody gets
Really
rewarded
quickly, though,
except my
going
girl
back to-
Daenerys, who got so
Really
boned
quickly,
this
going back to
episode.
Bran on the throne. Does anyone else find it ironic that Dany's whole thing was to break the wheel, but instead she just put 3 more wheels back on the throne?
Also, Bran the Broken?
Bran the Broken is
Come
so
on,
shitty.
guys, it's so
What is-
shitty.
Wouldn't you want to
it's
name
kinda
him
ableist.
Bran the Unbroken, right? You've
Yes.
fallen out of a tree.
Sure.
You've fallen from a cliff. You didn't die. You went across the wall, became
Yeah,
the,
Bran-
Bran the better down.
Bran
Yeah.
the Survivor. Bran the
yeah.
something.
Maybe Bran the Baritone.
Or Bran the Three-Eyed Raven, even.
It's got
Bran
they're
beyond the
really
spectrum.
into alliteration here, so we got to keep it in the B's, my friend.
Guys, Bran the Blood Raven.
Oh.
But Bran the Broken is so douchey. Oh god, it's so douchey.
What about just Bransburgers? No. it doesn't
No.
work.
Burgers?
Bran's Burgers?
Yeah, Bran the Aspergers is what I was trying
It's
to
not
work
a
with,
Bob's
but-
Burgers joke.
What?
No, it was more of an Asperger's.
Oh,
Shit.
You're
because
telling me Bran isn't on the spectrum?
now that he's the Three-Eyed Raven, I think he is the spectrum.
Good lord. Why
Right.
does he need a Master of Whispers?
Yeah, why? No, he
doesn't.
doesn't. This is
He
I
is
mean,
the Master of Whispers.
Also, I love the comment. I'll
also-
find Drogon.
Yes, what the fuck is that?
Speaking of Master of Whisperers, previous episode, What was the point of showing Varys taking off his ring? Then
I wondered the same thing.
Was there no plot point to that?
Where did
Or
he
does
send
just-
those?
The best I could do was like, I don't know. He thought he was going to be burned, but like, when in a column of fire, are you terribly concerned if your rings melt to your finger? I think not.
Oh, that was some
think-
forthinking.
Right.
I thought it was
I don't
like
wanna
a
get a
Right? That'd
blister.
be terrible if I got extra burned under this.
Yeah.
I don't want to
So
get a
with those
blister on my
rings-
finger when I'm being roasted alive.
I think those were actually used for him to seal the
Scrolls.
scrolls and stuff. So he took them off so that he wouldn't be suspected of writing the letters.
I mean,
I think he already knew.
But did
was
he
dying,
send the
though,
letters,
right?
you guys?
no, he didn't even get a chance to send them off, right?
burnt
I
them.
mean, and who was he gonna send them to?
Oh no, was it a plot hole?
A Mack
Oh,
truck
no.
falls into it. It's a black hole that swallows the rest of the universe.
I can't believe they didn't catch that drink from Starbucks cup.
Oh, right.
All men must drink.
All men must drink. I'm doing my own.
Guys.
Right?
Ow.
Oh my
Aw.
gosh. Oh, bud.
Sorry you found the bottom.
Well, you know what happened is when he was fixing his microphone, he just drank instead. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, that's exactly what I did the entire
Yeah.
time. I didn't know what else to do but to try to listen as you guys cut out. And
It's
I
not
couldn't.
the wrong choice.
I'm really happy to contribute to 1/3 of this.
It was the
Oh,
good third. It was the
it's
best
the good.
third.
It's the good third. Yeah, it's like Game of Thrones. It's the last half, so you know it's the best.
You were
right?
the
It's-
first third of the seasons.
Cuts out is
I'd rather be the
indecipherable.
first third of the last.
You are truer words, my friend.
Did you guys think they spent too much time on the whole Danny
No.
Hitler-esque thing, and then not enough time on like what happens after?
I think
'Cause-
What do you mean spent too much time? They spent approximately like 8 minutes on it.
Yeah, but
Right?
I mean,
Yeah. They didn't spend too much time on almost anything
agreed.
this whole season.
Retweet.
yeah. Well, except for the fact that, well, yeah, I guess
It
I
was a
wanted
whole lot of
more,
nothing.
so I would have liked them to spend more time on everything. Mm-hmm. Right?
If you
Give me
could
more-
change
give me more plot
one
line.
scene, what do you change?
Of
What's
this
your
episode?
scene of this episode? What do you change?
I thought, considering the giant dumpster fire that they give him and work with the last 2 episodes, they did a really good job with it.
I mean, I think this one
The
was definitely
actors
not the
were
worst
incredible.
episode.
No, it was like, considering how shitty
No.
the last 2 were. Like, I was fucking mad after the last 2, and this one I was like, oh,
I don't think the last 2 were shitty. I think this last
well,
one.
everyone
like,
gets an opinion, but that's
this
just
last.
wrong.
Well, no. This last episode was logically 2 episodes that they just made into one because it should have been an episode that ended right as Drogon flew off into the sea. That's
This
how they
episode
normally
should have
would
ended
do
there?
it, right? Season.
No, yeah, he's saying this episode
Yeah.
should have been 2.
This
Right.
episode should have been 9.
They essentially
Yeah.
took-
This should have been
Yeah.
this should have been
Instead of
season
taking-
This was
9.
a season worth of material.
Right. Instead of taking 2 episodes that had logical endpoints, they just, instead of making 2 60-minute episodes, they just mashed 2 together. And-
Instead of making 3 seasons,
Yeah.
they made 3 episodes.
right.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought the first half of this episode was incredible.
It was.
I thought the
Yep.
first half of
Yep.
Tyrion walking through the rubble.
It was good.
And then him throwing his
Yep.
pin off, which I like how he takes credit for doing just as much as John. It's like,
yeah.
John goes,
John
did
does
I do the right thing? And then, did I do the right thing? And Tyrion goes, did we do the right
Yeah, right.
thing? You just threw your little...
We killed
you
her
threw your pin on the
together.
stairs, and I murdered a person.
Right.
What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Ask me again in 10 years.
But,
Ugh.
right. So if I
They
could
had to
change
end it.
a scene, it would make the whole second half another episode.
Yeah.
Is that too
I
That's-
feel
broad?
like when, as a fandom, when we
valid.
all look at it, we
What?
just see
It
what
actually
could have
came
been.
10 years.
I can't hear a word you're saying, Lauren. You need to speak into the microphone, por favor.
They should have split it
Yes.
and then actually jump forward 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone's saying the same thing. They should have had fucking 2 more seasons, right? We needed a whole season to how they deal with the Night King, and then a whole season to how they deal with Cersei at a minimum. right?
Mm-hmm.
And in there, you need all of the character development in addition to those resolutions.
That would have gone with it.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's... If I was a showrunner, right, which I'm not, I'm a fucking engineer, right, who sits behind a desk, right, I would have made one... Oh, thank you. With sexy operator voice. I would have done that, right? Each season needs to have an overarching story arc plot line, right? And so you make one about the Night King and that resolution, and then you make the next one about Cersei and what happens after, post Cersei in a PC world. Oh shit.
Oh, you hate that.
Come on, Dave.
I just did that. You see what I did there?
Such a reach. Such a reach.
Oh, come on.
No, I mean, wouldn't be PC.
Yeah.
It would just be, instead of brother sister, they would just love the incest to nephew.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
They just water down the incest a little bit until eventually people are not
Post Cersei.
fucking their families.
Politically correct.
Cersei. You guys. Yeah, we should have had a whole season to watch Dany's descent into madness and that pivot between doing, killing the slavers is something that makes me cheer inside. The atrocities that were done to the Unsullied when they had to kill those dogs.
The whole thing that, God, was it in the show or was it something I was reading afterwards? I forget, but where maybe it was Tyrion was saying, she murdered a shit ton of people and is told all along, you're right and you're good and killing is good and killing is good and killing these people are good. And it's not surprising that the lines get blurred for her. And where is your line? Everybody's going to have a different line of who is good to kill and who isn't good to kill. And that's all.
Yeah, Tyrion says that to Jon in their, dungeon moment.
But they never talk to Dany about it. Nobody has a fucking conversation with her.
That's not right. When he was sitting with Tyrion, when Jon and Tyrion are sitting in the cell, Tyrion has all of the creative and new thought and just pours it into Jon. Jon, like a useless vessel, walks it up to Dany, dumps it on Dany without ever having an independent thought of his own. Dumps it on her. She doesn't give him the reaction she wants because what he wants is, we need a universal definition of what is good and what is bad. We all need to decide and agree on it and move on from there. And she's like, no, I know good and I know bad, and my definition is the only one that stands, and I murder whoever doesn't get behind it. And he's like, stab, stab. So he kind of sort of tried to talk with her about it, but she had 5 minutes. She's got 5 minutes. Don't fuck it up or you're dead.
She had 5 minutes and she was like, hey, here's this cute story from when I was a kid and also couldn't do math. Fuck right off with girls can't do math. Oh my God, I laughed so hard. And then he interrupts her and is like, and he's like, hey, here's this impossible test that you get stabbed in the heart with. After I romantically kiss you. It's a test. You're about to fail it. I haven't talked to you the entire time that we've been in King's Landing. I haven't had one conversation with you. When you were having your Hitler speech, I could have been like, hey, maybe let's talk about this.
To be fair,
down.
he didn't understand a word that she was saying because Jon does not speak High Valyrian. So
I did not pick up on that at all.
I get that Jon obviously sees that
he
she's
was waiting. This is a great pep rally.
He's just being polite, and he's like, I don't fucking know. I'll just wait. I don't know. I'll wait till they speak the common tongue, I guess.
I'd love to see the scene where Jon walks up to Grey Worm and be like, what did you say?
Yeah,
yes.
right?
I missed all of that.
Well, Tyrion says it to him, right? Tyrion says, do you really think she was standing up there saying that she was done? No, she was talking about how she's going to keep killing and keep conquering. And that's when he has to figure out if it's a test or not.
Right, but if the show set up one thing well, it's that Tyrion really doesn't speak Valyrian.
Yes, that's also a true statement.
They've done a much better job setting up Tyrion's poor Valyrian than Dany's all of a sudden madness.
Do you want some food? She thinks you want to eat her baby.
Right. They gave that more runtime.
Fuck.
Fantastic.
So what's this? Has anyone looked? What's the petition up to now?
Oh my god!
I think it was
That
like
petition.
800,000 yesterday.
Was it 1 million?
Was it?
Oh my
Oh,
god,
man.
that's
Like 1 million.
hilarious.
It was at 1 million
Oh my
today,
God.
which is.
If I ever did a thing and 1 million people signed a petition being like, yo, you're bad at that thing you did, it would be devastating.
Yeah, right.
is-
they're
that
gonna
is the
cry
biggest,
and
like,
they're
first world
wiping away their
problems
tears with their $100 bills. Like
Right.
every writer is like, I've just made the most popular shitty ending since Lost. People will be talking about this in TV
Since
infamy.
Lost, I think The Sopranos. All right, was the
I
next.
never watched Sopranos.
I never
Oh, good,
finished.
because the
so-
ending
Was
just
awful.
all of a sudden fades to black.
And we also
Right.
stopped Lost before it could fuck us. We fucked it before it fucked
And it-
us.
That's how you do.
Not
And you're
Game of
telling me
Thrones.
Ray's
I've
parents?
heard
You're telling me
comparisons
Ray's
to
parents in Star Wars were nobody? I mean, come on.
Yeah, right.
Okay. They're in good company. They're in really
You
good
realize
fucking
that
company.
They now have Star Wars. Like,
we know.
That's the
We know.
fucking
I think
everyone-
problem, right?
Yeah, we know.
Oh,
we know.
boy.
Yeah,
Let the white banker boys have
But
Star Wars, I
see,
guess.
I disagree. I think they're excited to do Star Wars. They've been doing.
Maybe that's why they got done with Game of Thrones. They're like, no, quick, finish this shit. We want to go do Star Wars.
That's exactly why.
no, I mean,
yeah, at
they're
the
over
very
it. I mean,
beginning,
that's
right?
what it
they
is.
were great, right? Because
Super
they were
excited
passionate about
about
it,
the
and
show
they were
was-
doing it, and
'Cause
and
they had
were
someone
doing
else
it very
writing
well.
it.
for 5
Yeah.
to 6 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. Well, I mean, I think also having the obviously this comes into the fact that they're not very good writers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they did Wolverine Origins, and I mean, come on.
Did they really? I know
Yes.
Did they
nothing.
really?
Yes, they did.
Why do I have
Yes.
a podcast? I know nothing. Jon
Why did
Snow.
that not? Why did that not come out beforehand?
I mean, that tells you all you need to know, right?
I mean, it does. They are not good without source material, right?
They're
like,
not.
okay, they did an amazing, passionate job of, converting the source material, and
Yeah.
without it, they rushed to the plot points that we think George gave them, and they weren't able to develop the characters, and they got bored, which is why they were like, all right, fuck it. But in my mind, it's just. Why not let someone else take over it? I'm sure there were a ton of other people passionate
Right.
about Game of Thrones that maybe
Ego.
Yeah, I know I get ego, but
It's all ego.
it has to be.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the petition is good and that's why I signed it was because I hope it knocks them down a peg, and I think it sends a message to Disney that says, hey, people are pissed at these
Yeah.
guys. You probably shouldn't just give them one of your most important 2000 millennial whatever franchises to date. Like
Just
Star
let them
Wars
go
is
make
fucking
that
important to
Confederate
Disney,
show they
Right.
wanted to make.
Like if you think people were pissed over Game of Thrones, wait till you fuck up Star Wars.
So one thing I've been kind of reading as well with this petition is some of the actors are taking great offense to it.
The actors
television.
shouldn't. The actors did
Good
an amazing
news,
job,
you didn't write the show.
But
You're
it's-
good.
It's still
that's a good
like
point.
they see it as these people don't like something that we put all this time and effort into.
I think they don't like something that they put all this time and effort
Right?
into.
Yeah.
I mean, there's fucking clips of them like advertising for this season, and they are clearly
Saying, like,
phoning it in.
disappointed.
Best
And it's just
season
shitty.
ever.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
they acted their
Right.
faces off. Like Danny Nikolai, what's his name? The guy that plays Jamie.
Jamie, yeah,
Raheem.
Nikolai
Yeah.
Phasma does
Waju.
great.
Yeah, yeah.
So Tyrion's gonna
killed
win
it,
some
yeah.
awards for this. Like they really
He
had
already
us
did, I mean,
hanging
yeah.
on their moments, but it was just such
Well,
lazy. It was the thing that's galling is it's so fucking lazy, right? Like the
Right, well,
coffee
it's just-
cup, the shitty writing.
As far as the petition, like, does anyone have a problem as a whole of where this ended up, or is it more they just wanted more of it? Because as far as where it ended up, I think every step.
I have
like,
a
every
problem
major
with how it
step,
ended up
I
with
think
how it
makes
was done.
sense.
I
It's
think
just
you
they
could
just went
you could
past
get to
a
these
lot of it.
points
Oh,
properly.
I just
Yeah.
connected. Am
But
I back?
I need to see it to know for sure. But I think you could very much get to exactly where we ended up and be believable. Dany's a goddamn Targaryen. Like, absolutely,
Yep.
she can go nutso butso. But just not in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right, but it's just that's a ton of money for HBO to shell out.
And they're not
going to
do it.
Keep
Nothing's
the
gonna
broad
happen.
skeleton.
This
So-
isn't a thing that's
Let's
gonna
add a little
happen.
more to it. Let's add 3 episodes, and then it'll be exactly the same otherwise.
I mean, HBO said that
Yeah.
they were willing to do a 14 season,
This
10
is a-
episodes a season show. Like
It's
this
a
was not
printing press for
HBO.
money.
Yeah,
Like,
HBO was
they could have
not
done it
about
right.
not funding this. This
Right,
was
but-
all a D&D
right, but-
thing.
Yep.
For
Which is so
getting them, all of those actors are now that's their life for the next 6 years. They probably have other stuff they want to do too.
Maybe, but maybe
Well,
as a
let's keep in mind that you get 1.5 years between seasons. Like you can do other
Only the last two,
Well, how
right?
much between the other ones?
I mean, Amelia Clark did.
Yeah.
Amelia Clark
Come
did
out
some
every
other
year
stuff.
before.
Kit Harington did other stuff. You know, they all.
Lena, Cersei
so
has
exci-
another movie coming out soon.
fucking
was so
Sansa's the
excited to
Dark
cut his hair.
Phoenix.
Yeah. So like they've all been doing other shit.
Yep.
Right, but I mean they can only do so much because I mean what do they shoot on the long night episode? What was that? 2 months? That one
I have no
episode?
idea how long that took to shoot.
It was, I think, the longest. I think they set a world record for the longest duration for a single.
55 nights
Right,
or
I-
something.
Yeah, it was
like
something
that.
crazy. Yeah.
55 days, like 2 months. Like that's
Wow.
That's one episode. Imagine extrapolating that to. I know not every episode would be that long, but 10
Was
episodes
part-
for the next 5 years.
Yeah, but I mean, if they're paying
That's a
you
long
and
time.
you're like enjoying, and people are invested in enjoying
I
this,
think
like
paying work
I'm sure they
as
are,
the
but they still
highest
wanna
and
do other
hottest
stuff.
property in all of television is not a bad gig to have for any actor for any duration of time. But I mean, I'm not an
Right,
actor.
but,
I don't know. Maybe
plus-
they don't
plus,
want
I
to be in
mean-
it
I
anymore.
mean, I'm not either. I would take it, but I would think most want to expand what they do and show off.
You know what?
that they can do more
It
than
depends.
just
Like
one thing.
we can look at how many shows that we have had running on television for 10 plus years have the exact same cast that they started with. Not many, but usually So like
An
there's
animated
there's
show.
yeah the
I
voice
mean, look,
act the people
Big-
that can show
Big-
up in
Big Bang
their
Theory,
pajamas.
Friends,
Flanders'
all of
wife
these
is
shows,
out.
Right.
know?
So that's my point is like you lose a couple here and there, but for the most part, you keep your backbone the same. For quite some time, you can run it. The one I watch now is Grey's Anatomy, and that's a completely different cast. But that's been on for like what, 15 years?
Yep.
A long time.
Yeah.
You mean you don't watch your documentaries?
Oh, I totally do, but that hasn't been on nearly as long. And the only one that ever got out of that was Rob Kardashian, and that's because he got sad.
You don't think Mike the Situation got out of that?
Mike did, but only because jail time.
Only because he went
Yeah,
to jail.
fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. Pay your taxes.
Don't open this can of worms, dude. Don't open this.
What else do you want to know? I can
Wait,
go all day.
Let's back up. Cut motion. Cancel. Final thoughts? Do we want to do like a
Yeah,
wrap up
let's-
of the season?
Yeah, let's do a wrap up of the season. Let's do final thoughts.
Lead us off,
Morgan.
Dave.
No,
Oh.
let's let our guest lead us off.
I like it.
Are you sure? Final thoughts on the season as a whole?
Yeah.
Okay. Visually amazing. Exciting to know how it all really ends, assuming that is actually how it ends. Not that we might ever get the books to find out.
Yeah, George is gonna die.
Yeah, our
You
children's
guys-
children will enjoy
You guys
it.
need to shush. He's already got the
Right.
draft in. It's great. You guys need to be believers.
Right. So, I mean, the way I would describe it is how, most of the women I've been with would describe it, like visually stunning. It just kind of happened too fast.
Yeah.
I was like, why the fuck is he pulling all the women he's been with on Game of Thrones? But then I got there and figured it out.
It took you a little longer than those women, but you know.
They never got there.
No.
Lauren, final thoughts on the whole season.
Final thoughts. I have to agree. Visually stunning. The most consistent part was the music. And
Yeah, the
the
music was
music
really
was
good.
just on
Yeah.
point.
The
every single
costumes.
There were so many
costumes.
renditions of Reigns of Castamere, like
Yes.
played different times, different ways. That just every time I heard it, I was like,
PTSD.
episode. Ah, the chills.
yeah.
It did have its high points. It's good moments, like Brienne getting knighted.
Yeah. Tormund telling us the story of Giant's Milk.
Yeah, that was
You enjoyed
everything that include Tormund.
That episode was the best episode of all
to sit
seasons.
down.
Yes,
Sit down, Uncle. No.
but they could have developed the characters so much better.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think that's going to be unanimous across the board, I think. Kirsten?
I really liked that I didn't actually take the show seriously, so I'm very much I'm very much holding on to the fact that none of this actually has happened yet in the world that I care about. So
Okay.
I find when like shows or book, and I'm sure most people feel the same, when things that I really care about are over, I have a very hard time with it. Like I still remember how sad I got when Friends was over. So I was really, really happy where I'm like, this isn't real. The book's the only thing that matters. This is all nonsense. My friends are totally still alive.
So this is just like a dream story to you.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
My friends
okay.
are alive. Everybody's fine.
I love
Jamie,
that.
Jamie still has
Yeah.
his golden hand.
Jamie
you know.
still has his golden hand. He's still crushing on Brienne.
Stannis is alive.
Yep, exactly. The
Dorne
Night King is out there
matters.
ready to fuck some shit up. Hodor's alive. Hodor's alive?
Hodor's
alive!
Hodor's super alive. Mira Reed,
No.
Jojen Reed.
Hodor doesn't have a lot longer.
No.
Neither does
Like
Jojen.
that is a very short wick left to burn, but he's still around for me.
Shireen is still alive.
Ah,
Jon Snow
Shireen.
is dead, so that's good.
That's right. That's true. That's true.
Ghost is still alive. That's like
Tana.
my
That's
dream
2
come
years.
true moment right here.
Ghost is alive with 2
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
With 2
Tana.
years, my poor sweet boy.
You want
You
to
go
with your
first,
final
Dave.
thoughts? Me
I don't
go
know.
first? All right.
Yeah, you go.
You are
I mean,
dead.
I think for the most part, I've agreed with what everyone said. Visually and acting wise, I think this season has been amazing. If you ignore the story and the plot holes and the rushedness of everything, I think it, you know, as a quadrillion-dollar budget, you know, franchise goes, it lived up to it. We got some fucking badass CGI dragons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Fucking
good.
amazing, just the ruffles of their neck.
That
and the
I loved. I
fire
loved
and
that.
good.
Just the little emotion you get from like the CGI that's completely CGI, right? There's no physical really of that at all. I think is amazing.
Yeah.
I just have to say, I love how the dragons' like eyebrow areas are just as
Expressive.
expressive as
Oh
Emilia
yeah.
Clarke's.
Yeah, no. I think they did like an amazing job there all around. I think overall this is where the books are going, but it's going to be way more satisfying and enjoyable to figure out like how they get there. And I don't know. I mean, I'm excited for the spin-offs. I truly am, because
You've always been
know,
excited to spin ourselves off.
I've always been excited to spin myself off. It's just, you know, we did it with Westworld.
So what is the
you
spin-off?
know. So there's 3 in the works. 2 of them have been leaked-ish by George, where one is going to be The Long Night, and one is going to be Fire and Blood, and we're unsure what the third is. But
So we'll get some
But-
answers about the Night King then.
we will hopefully we'll get
Hopefully.
some answers about the Night King. We'll also hopefully get to see Aegon the Conqueror and Jaehaerys the Conciliator and a lot of the Targaryen dynasty and how they, you know,
Love a conciliator.
ruled. But I mean, with all that being said, I'm just really glad that D&D are not a part of those. So,
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
My things that I loved about this show, I got to see Brian knighted,
Yeah, that's great.
and that was huge.
I think it's pronounced Brian.
Brian?
Brienne,
Brian.
you're all
saying it right.
pronouncing it wrong. Just like Tana says Pitire, it's
Yeah,
fucking Peter.
Pitire.
all right? It's fucking Peter.
Yeah.
right.
Cersei, Sirsay. Maybe is how I say it.
No, Cersei, that is correct. But
yeah. So
is it pronounced Jamie? Jamie Lannister?
Jimmy? It's pronounced Jimmy fucking Lannister.
So I love that I got to see her knighted. I didn't see that coming. It was wonderful. Visually, it was stunning. That dragon. I do not think the books end up in the same place. I just don't think they do. We'll see.
We won't see because George.
Even if we get to a similar place, I think it'll be so much more satisfying in a deep and penetrating way.
You know,
I've never been able to do that.
Yeah, me neither. It's the Jewish. It's just
I really hope in the books that like the Long Night sort of series that like Bran gets a point of view chapter where he's talking to Tyrion and he goes, "I have to go now," and then it's the exact same thing. Like, some ravens fly up in the air, and then just next person. That's I want that in the books more than anything. Actually, is like, where the fuck did he go? I've missed the entire run of your podcast, so I've got a lot of nits to pick. That's what I want more than anything, is to know what Bran and the Night King do.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they wrapped up the Night King in the most unsatisfying way possible this season.
It was the long minute.
It was actually a way to just write them off. Like, this didn't mean anything. The big bad of the entire fucking show.
I'm glad we've built this up for 8.5,
exactly.
7.5 seasons.
Right.
And that's the thing that makes everything feel hollow. We were building up. That's the end.
Yeah, it's like a huge set of blue balls. I mean, it's just what it is, right?
The last
You're
3 episodes.
To that point. Yeah.
Yep.
And I think on that note, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude
Nerds and neckbeards.
This episode.
You will not be joining us for another episode of Westeros Wheneverly because it's over now, Dave.
It's Tana. We've already discussed this. We're going to do a Fire and Blood episode.
We opened with it.
Okay.
We're over now.
It's not over.
It's the finale.
The show is over.
Dave,
but we will go on.
Tana's a fatalist, and you just need to like let her do this thing, and then next week you just do it again, and she'll like, "Oh yeah, let her do podcasting. I love podcasting. Let's do it again."
Ladies and gentlemen, nerds and neckbeards, thanks for listening to this episode of Westeros.
The final episode.
Westeros, wheneverly. And remember, all men
must drink.
God, I hope I was recording this.
Oh my God.